Hello, welcome to Himdeve development, where we are preparing the best tutorials to make your mobile application development easier and more efficient. The goal for this tutorial is following. In the portfolio screen, we'll create two tabs to switch between the two subpages of the portfolio, Portfolio Tutorials and Portfolio Gallery. We'll use components such as TabBar and TabBarView in combination with Slivers. Finally, we'll learn how to use TabBar instead of combining BottomNavigationBar with a PageView component. First, we open a code for our existing application from the previous tutorial and we open the portfolio_page.dart file. This will be our starting file for this tutorial. We run the application to see the progress so far. However, in this tutorial, let's see how to create a TabBar from scratch. So we'll delete the variables from the previous tutorial as well as the entire contents of the build method. We leave only the scaffold widget and _pages variable, which represents the tuple2 item list, where the first item represents the name of the subpage and the second the widget of that subpage. First, we add the appbar to show the basic way to add TabBar to the application. We add the TabBar widget to the appbar's bottom attribute. TabBar has the tabs attribute in which we insert two tabs. The first one represents the tutorials tab and the second the gallery tab. We launch the application and we can see that we are missing the tab controller for our TabBar. To be able to manipulate with the TabBar and TabBarView widgets, we need a tab controller. There are two ways to add tab controller to TabBar. We'll go through both of them. The simpler one is with default tab controller, which is an inherited widget that has a tab controller created in it. It has a length attribute where we set the number of tabs using our variable _pages.length, and the child attribute where we leave our scaffold widget. We run the application and we can see the TabBar, but the bottom content is empty. Therefore, we add a TabBarView to the scaffold's body attribute, which displays a widget selected from the TabBar. It has the children attribute where we insert a list of our subpages using the tuple2 variable item2. We launch the application and we can see that we have just finished the TabBar and the TabBarView widgets. Now we'll do a little refactoring, because adding tabs to TabBar individually is not very effective. Therefore, we'll use our _pages list to return a TabList using a map function. We test the app to see that it still works correctly. We may notice that we are missing a title at the appbar. Therefore, we add a title attribute to the appbar and we set it to the first value in the _pages list. But here we come to the problem that we can't change the name dynamically. Therefore, we need to define a tab controller separately that allows us to manipulate with the TabBar and TabBarView widgets dynamically. In the initState method, we initialize a tab controller. The tab controller constructor has two required arguments. The first is length, which represents the number of tabs, and the second is basing, which represents a ticker provider. To define a ticker provider, we use a concept called mixin. Mixins allows us to add a group of functions to a class without using the parent-child hierarchy, allowing us to have one parent and multiple mixin components in the same class. In our case, we have the _portfolio_page_state class that inherits from the state class. And now, if we wanted to inherit further features from another class without that class being the ancestor of our class, we could use mixin. In simple words, we just use the functions of another special class without directly inheriting from it. When we inherit from another class, we use the extends command. For mixins, we use the with command. We insert our class, this, into basing argument because it provides a ticker provider with single ticker provider state mixing. What is ticker provider? As the name suggests, ticker provider provides a ticker, which simply means that it returns a callback to our application about frame updates, means a screen redraw information, so that an animation controller can generate a new value and redraw the animated widget. The animation controller is created when we create a tab controller and serves for animation between our tabs. In the dispose method of the underscore portfolio page state class, we call the dispose method of the tab controller to release the animation controller that was created in it. The framework calls this method when the state object will never build again. Now we remove the default tab controller from the build method. And we use a controller attribute of the TabBar as well as the TabBarView widgets to insert our underscore tab controller. We run the application and we can see that it is running correctly. Let's change the title now. Tab controller offers us the index of the displayed subpage. We start the app, but the title doesn't change. This is because the build method has not been redrawn. So we add a listener to our tab controller in the initState method of the underscore portfolio page state class, which will listen for a change to the subpage and call the setState method for the change. We launch the application and we can see that the title is changing. Now we learn how to work with TabBar in combination with Slivers. First, we remove the AppBar widget. Then we add the nested scroll view widget to the body attribute, which has also an attribute body in which we leave the TabBar view widget, and a header sliver builder attribute in which we define the portfolio sliver appbar widget with the title of the current subpage. We launch the application and we can see that Sliver appbar is working with the TabBar view widget. Now we want to define TabBar. Let's try a less interesting approach first. We go to the portfolio Sliver appbar class. And for the Sliver appbar, we add the bottom attribute to which we define TabBar. We'll use the tabs we have already created. And also our tab controller, which we add as an input parameter for the portfolio Sliver appbar class. We run the application. The white color of TabBar text is not readable. So we set it to black and we set the tab indicator color to black as well. The title is a bit of mess here. So we move it from flexible spacebar directly to Sliver appbar so it doesn't get bigger. Okay, so this is one way how to add TabBar to Sliver appbar. However, there is a more elegant way. Therefore, we'll delete this code for now. We launched our application without the TabBar. We go back to the header sliver builder and we add another widget, Sliver persistent header widget, after portfolio Sliver appbar. This widget will be filled with TabBar and its tabs. Sliver persistent header has a required attribute delegate to which we define an instance of the Sliver persistent header delegate impl class. In the presentation layer of the application, we create a new folder delegates with the sliver_persistent_header_delegate_impl.dart file in it. In this file, we create the sliver persistent header delegate impl class, which inherits from the sliver persistent header delegate class. We define here two variables, TabBar and color. In the class constructor, we set the color parameter to transparent color by default, and we add a required TabBar parameter. In the build method of this class, we return the container widget to which we can set the color using the color attribute, and we put our TabBar widget into the child attribute. From the sliver persistent header delegate class, we inherited the maxExtend and minExtend methods, in which we return the height of our TabBar using the TabBar.preferredSize.height command. MaxExtend represents the size of the header when it is not shrinking at the top of the viewport. MinExtend is the smallest size a header can achieve when shrinking at the start of the viewport. The last method in this class is shouldRebuild method. In our case, we return false here because we do not need to redraw the header on a change of delegate instances. We go back to the portfolio_page.dart file and we insert the sliver persistent header delegate impl class into the sliver persistent header delegate attribute. We leave a default transparent color and we set only the TabBar attribute. We put the TabBar widget here, where in the tabs attribute we insert the TabList obtained with a map function from our _pages list. And we insert our tab controller into the controller attribute. We set its color of text and icons to black using the label color attribute. We also set the displayed tab indicator to black using the indicator color attribute. We run the application and test the functionality. Now, if we want to change a color of TabBar, we just add the color attribute. Okay, this is what TabBar's main functionality is all about. And now we'll learn how TabBar may take advantage of PageView and BottomNavigationBar widgets. In our scaffold's BottomNavigationBar attribute, we insert our TabBar widget from sliver persistent header. We test the app. The color of the unselected text is not sufficiently grayed out. Therefore, we edit it using the unselected label color attribute. We add an image icon for both tabs. And we wrap the TabBar with a container to set the background color. To have a different icon for each tab, we edit our list _pages, where we use the tuple3 class and we define the third icon for a particular subpage. We change tuple2 everywhere to tuple3. And we add our third item to the icon attribute. We run the application and test the functionality. Okay, this was just a demonstration of how we can quickly make a bottom navigation bar using TabBar. We will test the final functionality. And with this is our 8th part of this first series of Flutter tutorials completed, and of course you can find the complete source code on the GitHub as well as on our website himdeve.com, where you have a detailed description of everything we went through in this video. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you, bye bye.